What is going on, guys? In today's video I will show you all confirmed classes in Path of Exile 2 for early access. So POE 2 will feature 12 playable classes, each having 3 ascendancies aka subclasses. However, in the early access, which gets released on December 6, we will get only 6 of these main classes, with 2 ascendancies each. If you don't play Path of Exile, then basically in this game you can use any weapon or play any skill on any class that you want. But then when you reach the endgame and ascend to either of your 2 options, then you will get your weapon restriction dependent on your base class. So for example, the main warrior class can use any weapon, starting with swords to bows, daggers and etc. But then when you ascend and choose to go with the warbringer or perhaps the titan, then you get restricted. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. First off, we have the warrior. This is a strength based class who specializes in crushing enemies with oversized melee weapons. His favorite weapon is the mace, which includes skills like the slams and war cries. But if you wanna get spicy, he can also use a variety of shield skills. And you can always redirect your strikes mid-attack or dodge rollout, if you desperately need to dodge an enemy attack. The warrior also has access to several totems. Some of these, like the shockwave totem, will directly damage the enemy. Others, like the ancestral warrior, will use a slam skill. This is great if you want a more relaxed playstyle. But if you want to be even more safe, then you can use the shield skills. While you have the shield equipped, you can actively block to prevent all incoming damage from one direction. You can also use skills like the shield charge that blocks incoming damage, while rushing into the enemies that deals even more damage along its way. Overall, we get 2 ascendancy paths, so the warbringer and the titan. A warbringer can transform totems into spirits, giving them more freedom to attack your enemies. When threatened, he can also encase himself in jade, preventing damage while the shield lasts. Finally, this ascendancy is also able to use war cries more frequently than other classes, or explode the corpses of his enemies. And then on the other hand, we have the titan, and he's all about slams that leans into the two-handed weapon fantasy. His slams will generate powerful aftershocks, which deals additional damage to the enemies in an AoV. With crushing impact, a titan is able to stun enemies more easily, and he can take advantage of this with a massive damage bonus against enemies that are under effect of heavy stuns. Next we have sorceress. She's an intelligence-based class who harnesses 3 elements and bends them to her will. She will use powerful fire skills that ignite enemies, or use wall of fire or even fireballs to set her projectiles ablaze, adding additional damage to the enemies. She can also drop a big rock on the targets and use other cold skills to freeze them in a place. Or perhaps you can choose a different route and fill your entire screen with sparks that shock enemies, which makes them easier to defeat. Overall, her elemental skills are made to combo with other spells of different elements. You can wield the fire staff in your main hand to drop a flame wall, then swap to a lightning staff to fire all of your sparks through, and much more. Or even you can use a fire skill with the cast on ignite that will trigger a gem that unleashes a devastating firestorm. As a sorceress, you can ascend to become either way the Stormweaver or the Chronomancer. The Stormweaver harnesses all things lightning based. She deals critical damage to your enemies and unleashes a devastating lightning storm, or perhaps can stack 2 shocks on an enemy for even more damage amplification. Or then on the other hand, if you follow the path of the Chronomancer, then she prefers to exert her mastery over the time itself, so you'll be able to use time freeze to temporarily stop time, preventing enemies from doing completely anything for a certain duration. In addition, you can use the temporal rift to reverse time, sending you back into a prior location and returning your life and mana to what they were at that time. Lastly, if you are tired of cooldowns, then you can use the time snap to reset them, allowing you to use some of the most powerful skills in the game without a single delay. While this ascendancy is difficult to master, the Chronomancer will offer you a bunch of opportunities to outplay dangerous boss mechanics. Next up we have the mercenary. This is a strength and dexterity class that draws heavy inspiration from first-person shooters. You're able to use a burst shot with a shotgun, then also get your hands on the rapid shot on an assault rifle, or perhaps use the power shot with a sniper rifle. And overall we have a variety of huge ammunition. So for example, we get armor piercing ammo, which inflicts armor break, then incendiary ammo, which sets enemies on fire, and even the permafrost ammo, which freezes targets in a place, or even creates walls of ice which lay down suppressing fire. In addition to his crossbow, the mercenary will come armed to the teeth with a variety of grenades. They will work exactly as you expect and detonate after a short delay. Some grenades will apply crowd control effects, others will choke your targets with noxious fumes, but most are just there to cause big explosions. So simply put, all of these combinations will give you a massive variety of options to choose from. As a mercenary, you can ascend and become a witch hunter or the gambling legionnaire. As a witch hunter, you can tap into the arcane arts, gaining the ability to generate a sorcery ward. This shields you from elemental damage at the cost of your physical defense. You can also gain the ability to interrupt enemy spells by dealing damage, slowing the rate at which dangerous targets can use their skills. And lastly, some witch hunters can learn decimating strikes, which will remove up to 30% of an enemy's health with their first hit. Or then the other option is the gambling legionnaire, which is an ascendancy that focuses on skill gems. If you want to use additional skills, this is the ascendancy for you, as you can unleash the true potential of your skills by increasing your maximum resistance based on the number of supports you have equipped. Then also you can make all of your skills better by increasing their quality. Basically, as a gambling legionnaire, you can use your highest attribute to satisfy requirements for other skills to increase your damage out the wazoo. Then for the next class we have the monk. This is a highly mobile, intelligence and dexterity based class. He dashes into combat to strike enemies with his quarterstaff, before executing a quick retreat before the enemies get a chance to retaliate. Your quarterstaff skills will cover the elements of lightning, ice and wind. Your killing palm skill will dash to the enemies killing them when they're on low health to grant you a power charge. Or perhaps you can drop a Tempest Belt that resonates when struck, then hit it with the elemental damage to empower all of your sequence strikes and do big damage. Also, you get access to use Staggering Palm, which when enemies are close to being stunned, will unleash a barrage of wind projectiles. As a monk, you get 2 ascendancy paths. First, you can become an invoker that harnesses your inner strength, creating waves of raw elemental force. Evokers can meditate to double their energy shield and provide additional defenses. You can further specialize in either cold or lightning and unlock more bonuses for that element. Later on, you can take the form of a powerful Unbound avatar by applying status effects to build up Unbound Fury, to then unleash it for even more damage and elemental bonuses. Or then on the other hand, some monks prefer to turn to the dark arts by ascending to the Acolyte of the Chayula. Because of this, now you can use the Shroud of Darkness to protect yourself from attacks based on your darkness. Or alternatively, you can choose to stack more of it for the potent chaos damage bonuses. However, this isn't where the defenses end, as you'll also gain additional defenses against chaos damage. On top of this, you will get instant mana leech and the ability to apply it to your energy shield, which will provide a potent layer of recovery. And finally, few brave acolytes of the Chayula will choose to pair into the breach to gain the flames of the Chayula at the cost of your other stats. Then for one of the last classes we have the Ranger. This is a dexterity based class that uses a variety of bow skills focused around lightning, poison, ice and physical damage. Her lightning attacks will bounce between targets, electrocuting them and inflicting a stunning effect, which plants arrows in the ground to deal more damage. Your cold skills will slow and freeze enemies, making it easy to escape their attacks. And finally, your poison skills will generate a highly flammable cloud of gas, each one dealing damage over time, and creating toxic plants to devastate anyone that steps onto them. As a ranger, you become either way the Deadeye or the Pathfinder. The Deadeye fires additional projectiles, making it easy to bury enemies under the Withering Barrage. Alternatively, you can stack Tailwind up to increase your speed. Just be careful as you will lose that speed after taking the damage. Or then on the other hand we have the Pathfinder. This ascendancy focuses on flask and poison. You can choose between 5 throwable concoctions that are fueled by your flask charges. Each concoction deals some damage and inflicts a crippling element on any enemies caught inside the splash zone. You can also cause your poison to spread between different targets, while making them twice as potent. Last but not least, Pathfinders can move more quickly, while firing and becoming immune to slow effects, making this a great choice for anyone who wants to go fast while still dealing huge amount of damage. And now finally we have the Witch. This is an intelligence-based class that uses her spirits to build a minion army, or perhaps attack enemies directly through chaos and bone skills. She can also curse enemies to weaken them and make it easier to take out dangerous bosses. Her minions will resummon when they die, so you can use weaker skeletal warriors or powerful skeletal arcanists, and each minion has a special active ability, which are called the command skills. So for example, the skeletal arsonist can detonate your other minions, so then our playstyle would revolve around using corpses for temporary minions to grow the ranks of our army and then explode them. This class has two ascendancies, the Infernalist and the Blood Mage. As Infernalist, you get a loyal Hellhound who attacks your enemies and protects you by taking a portion of your damage for you. He also is the best person who is able to set enemies on fire. You can also infuse your mana with the Hellfire by entering the mana overload and triggering fiery explosions. Or you can even go all in and enter the demon form. In demon form, you take damage that ramps up over time, but in exchange you will get ever increasing cast speed and damage bonuses. But you won't be able to survive very long in this form, so you will have to manage your cooldowns and playstyle effectively. Or then on the other hand, we can go with the Blood Mage. This ascendancy comes at a steep price, which you have to pay with the life cost, in addition to the regular mana cost for all of your skills. But in exchange you get extra life based on some of your energy shield gear, also an ability to leech damage from your spells, and a new form of healing, via the Life Staff Remnant, which you can gain by killing enemies. Overall, the Blood Mage can invest into life for damage, with a critical strike bonus for 1% for every 20 maximum of life. So overall, Path of Exile 2 in early access has 6 classes, and in total we get 12 combinations of subclasses to choose from. As all main classes can use every single weapon, so I recommend for every player to test out different weapons and their playstyles, and then choose the subclass based on that weapon in the endgame, and that's about it. As more classes get released, I will keep making updates and new videos, so not to miss this, don't forget to click like and subscribe. Also, feel free to comment your class and ascendancy that you will be trying out first. With that said, thanks for watching guys, and I will see you in the next one, so take it easy, peace.